What's good everyone, it's your boy yadiiiig, 4 eyes, 2 G's here, and today we're here to talk about Playboi Carti, and this is a topic that comes up frequently with the more seasoned Carti fans who know the history of where he came from and how he came up. It's the idea of Carti switching up on his quote-unquote day ones to be successful. I'm not hating on Carti in this, or do I intend to make you guys not a fan of him anymore, because you already know how much of a fan I am, but I think these stories are important to tell, so let's break it down.
She told me that we weren't gonna go far. Now we eat double seats up in my sports car. In my sports car, wasn't gonna go far. She get no love cause she on my radar. In my sports car, wasn't gonna go far. She get no love cause she on my radar.
When people talk about celebrities selling their soul, to me it's not so much of a religious Illuminati type act or anything like that, but it's more so sacrificing your principles, your morals, and ultimately you act untoward to people you came up with, or people you owe a lot to, or people who helped you succeed, or something like that. Essentially holding other people back and limiting other people for your own personal gain. Let's start with Awful Records. Awful Records are a buzzing Atlanta based internet clique who around 2013, 14, and 15 exploded onto the internet with a huge buzz thanks to people like Father, Ethereal, McConan, Key all being heavily associated with their movement. They would swiftly take Carti in as their protege, and this was back when Carti essentially had no buzz at all. And Awful's own Father, Ethereal, and Slug Christ showed him hella love, producing, featuring, and promoting his music heavily, which led to his small initial internet hits like Lost, Talk, etc. Simply put, there is no Carti today without this awful incubation. They gave Carti the start he needed. However, to be honest, Carti moved quickly on from Awful throughout 2015 and never looked back. When he began to associate himself with people like Ian Connor, he basically raised the Awful association from his legacy, cutting them off and stopped working with them. He essentially shared none of the success he went on to have with them and hasn't shown them the love they showed him. Fans still bring this up today, and I think it's a fair criticism. And before we go on, a shout out to More of Pain for showing me love from my Instagram. Appreciate you and appreciate everyone else showing me love over on my IG. At yadiiiig, you know what to do, go support and follow your boy. Also a reminder about my merch tees, just a heads up, we've sold out of the largest for the whole lot of red and we only have one medium and one XL left, copy if you're interested, and the same goes for Rodeo where we only have one XL left, so link in the description to cop before they sell out, but let's keep going. And secondly is Unotheactivist / Thouxanbanfauni. Similar to Awful, Uno / Fauni came into the game with Carti. Uno is literally Carti's blood cousin and Fauni was extremely close with Carti. The three had a clique where they went by Splo Gang and made numerous iconic SoundCloud songs. However, once Carti began to associate with ASAP Mob, the same thing with Awful happened, except Carti definitely did Uno and Fauni a little bit harsher. Not only did he basically stop working with them, but according to Fauni, he would actually talk bad behind their back to Rocky and Bari about them. And when his own blood cousin Uno got shot by Dior, he took the side of Dior and got photographed with him after the situation went down. This is a huge part of the three's issues, and this is why Uno has been so vocal about Carti switching up on them. Again, another clear case of Carti acting untowards people he came up with, and still to this day, he doesn't associate with either of them and doesn't share the success he went on to have to make them all succeed. Thirdly is Ian Connor. Now, to be fair, I don't think he really switched up on Ian in the same way that he switched up on Uno, Fauni, and Awful. However, I think it's so important to mention. To remind you guys, there would 100% be no Carti today without Ian. Not only did Ian help him get a buzz around 2015 through promoting his music, but Ian also introduced him to ASAP and helped that affiliation happen. However, once Ian started getting massive media scrutiny due to the allegations, instead of Carti standing by him publicly and riding with him, Carti very noticeably distanced himself from him. He dodged saying his name in interviews back in 2017.
Another friend of mine who was part of ASAP, so Rocky was just, if he wanted to find out anything about me, he would just hit up, you know, the other ASAP artist who was around me, you know what I'm saying?
And who was that?
That was Ian.
And even today, he'll be super hesitant to talk about him in any way publicly. Now, to be fair, the two are still cool, hang out from time to time, and are clearly still friends, and I definitely cannot fault Carti as heavily in this case compared to the Awful Uno Fauni situations, as it would have been detrimental to his own come up to associate himself with such a controversial figure back when he was just on the rise himself. So how you judge this case is really up to you. To me, he definitely kind of switched up on Ian, but certainly to a less severe severe degree as Unotheactivist and Awful. And that right there, I think, are the three most blatant cases of Carti acting in a morally questionable manner for success. There are other examples that fans always bring up, such as him splitting up with Mexikodro or his situation with Milanmakesbeats. However, these instances are less him switching up on his day ones, compromising his morals for success and fame, and more so just him outright unquestionably doing producers dirty and straight up not paying them for production and stealing their beats, which is definitely not cool at all. And someone like Joe, who's responsible for countless iconic Carti songs like Broke Boy, Count It Up, Money Counter, etc., deserves better than that. And as I said, like basically any celebrity or musician or what have you, there are more than a couple skeletons in Carti's closet. And just like any time the question of character versus art, the question of someone's own personal actions dictate the quality or the acceptance of their music for me personally, really it doesn't matter to me as much. It may affect how I look at them and respect them on a personal level, and this is definitely the case for Carti, especially how we did Awful and Uno/Fauni, but to me, it hasn't stopped me from enjoying his music in the past, and will it in the future? Probably not, and it clearly hasn't for the majority of people either. But that's all for me today, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, turn on notifications, reminder about my merch. We have one medium and one XL in the whole lot of red, and one XL in the rodeo teaser left. Copy if you're interested, and there are more videos of mine on screen right now. Do make sure to check them out if you haven't.